Welcome, A-Train PC fans, to A-Train PC Classic with Omnius Prime. Episode 2, Preview, Part 2. Well, here I am back in this third tutorial scenario, and we're looking at Canton. It is now January 31st of 1976. I last left you off in episode 1, right near the end of June. I recall I had just purchased some stock and stuff like that. I'm going to go ahead and let the clock run kind of slow. And just let stuff kind of move along here just so you can have a little visual eye candy. So now I have built my city up quite a bit. As you can see, here's my nice operating port right here. Its quarterly profit and loss right now is 9.5 million. Works at 100% capacity. This port right here, quarterly P&L is at 14.3 million. High frequency, 100% capacity. This is where I'm making my money, the ports. And I have a port here. Same thing, high frequency, utilization 100%. It's making 7.9 million. As you can see, I have an oil well. It's making 3.4 million. And there's an oil tank with 45 out of 56 units of oil. Here's an oil tank with 24 out of 56 units of oil. I have this materials depot here, and I have a fish product storehouse. So I built this so that I can get fish from this little fishing port that the city built, or that some company built. And so now I'm buying the fish from them and selling it, exporting it on the world market, and they buy the ships. Now I've got two trucks right here running back and forth. One is carrying materials from a materials factory right here in the back behind the oil well, and the other truck is carrying oil from this oil tank. Now, how did I build this stuff here? Well, as you can see, I started out by building a materials depot and a truck parking lot here, right there, okay? And materials depot, truck parking lot. So I started buying materials from the city up here to the north, so that I could start building the materials factory. Once the materials factory was done, then I could switch to taking the truck and built road. Now, as you can see, there's some road missing right here, here. That's I've discovered that there is a little problem in the game that vehicles will get a mind of its own, and if you give them too many choices, they'll be running around all over the place where you don't want them to. So then I built a road down here, okay, built a materials depot, and then started trucking the materials from my depot and factory here down here. Built this materials factory. And I always go for the material factory B. I just love those. They're 8.3 um, um, production per day. So then I could build the oil well, and once the oil well was done, build oil tanks so that it starts collecting. Of course, once I got the materials factory done, I built the oil well, but I also started trucking materials down to this materials depot near the port so I could build the port right there. See, right next to that. The depots, you don't need materials to build. They just kind of build with money. So that's really cool. So now this port right over here exports materials, fish, oil. So what I'm trying to do now, and right now I've built up an excess of materials here. So now I'm trucking my materials back to Ripon and selling to Ripon because, as you can see, I built a truck garage here and materials depot in here in this little area where there were just basically trees, and therefore they were cheap. So now this area will build up. So materials are important for building up. And the other reason that I want materials down here is to have this area build up. So materials are really key. So what I found is this third port, oil, fish, and materials. My first port, which is right over here, is selling materials and lumber. And my second port, which is over here, it's accessing this farm warehouse, which accesses this agricultural cooperative that produces 2 per day. And this fish warehouse is getting fish from the port at 10 per day. So the second port exports materials, fish, farm. So the only thing I'm not exporting is, and as you can see, oh yeah, I've also built this train station up into oh, it's like a combined train station. What do we call that? It's a station complex. Okay, so it does basically like retail sales. So now I can generate more money at that station. I couldn't upgrade this station because it's a type A instead of a type B. So what I'm doing is learning about the different types of stations. And over here, hold on, let's see. Nope, I missed it. But over here, I built a department store. Okay, right there. And I built some apartments over here. And other people are building apartments. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a freight station over here, run another line out, and I'm going to start selling materials to the city of Groves. Now, in the beginning of the game, I was buying materials from Groves. I've also done some cool things, like this building right there is a theater. So you can see how it's glowing. Okay. There goes that little train right there. I got a 20% subsidy from the city for building an entertainment building in Grahamtown. And how do I tell that it's Grahamtown? If I go up to the top of the menu up here, just above these white little buildings here. When I click on an area up on the top here in the brown area, it'll tell me what town I'm in. I also built a little movie theater here, a smaller one, because I got a 30% subsidy from Lincoln Town. So, as you can see, and then a 25% aid will be applied to the construction of a residential building in Canton Town, which I did, and I got so I'm getting subsidies income. Now, at some point, I probably have to build the city a public building, some kind of public building. See, there's a boat right there, loading up at my second port. Gotta love it. Just empty those warehouses. Oh, yay, there it is. Camera, finally, at the low speeds. Let's see, can I? Nope. Gotcha. Can I click on? Nope. There we go. Let's see, can I actually get into the 3D video mode? Oh, okay. Come on, come on, come on. There we go. Okay. I'm slowly but surely learning about this game. So, here is 3D camera mode. And if you're moving slow enough, then it will, let's see. That's kind of waiting. Well, I guess this is just kind of alternate. It's just kind of flowing around the city. But you can follow individual cars and trains and stuff like that. But, so yeah, it's kind of neat. It does have a little 3D picture mode. And I'm glad that I finally figured out how to be able to show you that in this second episode to begin with. Now, let's take a look at something cool. The balance sheet, okay? The balance sheet says I've got $999,831,400. Now, I have to hit $1 billion, and then I will have fulfilled one of my two conditions for winning this scenario. That being getting to 1 billion in total assets. So let's just go ahead and I guess it's kind of following the train right now. And I'm sure that pretty soon it's going to pop up and give me a message that says that I have got the condition for the 1 billion in assets taken care of. So I know I've got less than 1 million to go. So come on, come on, come on. So now the train is actually carrying wood and materials. And I've learned to kind of spread materials out. And to chop up my roadways. That really looks dumb. But, man, to keep the two buses corralled in that central area where they start the game off, I had to just cut it off, you know. So come on, come on, come on. I want to hit the $1 billion. Let's crank it up. There it is. Total assets, $1 billion achieved. Oh yeah, so total assets is a measure of company size, yada yada yada. We built a company to be proud of. Thanks to your fine executive leadership as CEO, I look forward to working alongside you to continue building on our success, boss. Very deferential. Okay, so just go ahead and let's just save that. Save early, save often. Back to the game. So, if I come down here, as you can see, my total assets achieved on February 1st, 1976. So it took me about, its game started on April 1st of 1975, so it took me basically 10 months to hit the billion mark. Let's take a look at the balance sheet. Now, as you can see, I've got 411 million, okay, right here in securities. Oh boy. Then when it wants to talk to me, he just doesn't want to. One thing, there, you click on things like each line in this balance sheet, it will give you an explanation. Now, how am I making my money? Let's take a look. My rail sales are 65 million, or almost 66 million. My road sales are 74.4 million. My streetcar sales are a paltry 480,000. Resource sales, 877 million. Subsidiary sales, 893 million. So right now I've got sales of 1,911,000. So I'm going to go over 2 billion in sales. Now, what's my profit look like? 241,988,000. And I'm paying 231.6 million in corporate taxes. So the money is in the resource and subsidiary sales, mainly the resources. And I'm driving some of the resources by rail, but I'm also probably driving more of them from road sales. So building the materials factories allows you to build the cities. And as you can see, by building this materials depot here, look how that has built up the city around this rail station, which just had a few little paltry little buildings around it. Now, as you can see, I'm really building it up. And some company even is building these little cool Ferris wheels around my train stations. So I'm going to be back in a little while because I still have one more condition left to finish up this third scenario successfully. And that's going to be to go public. And I think what I've got to do is run game time for about another year. So I'll be back in a little bit. Well, here we are back again. And this time I've managed to get to the front of the Cibolo passenger train. And where it stops kind of like dead ends right in front of a building. I don't know if I built it or one of the other companies built it. Now let's see if this speed up the clock a little bit. There we go. Now I'm learning kind of the camera controls here. So this would be Cibolo Station. That first station we were at was Canton Town. So as you can see, it kind of accurately depicts the buildings that are being built around it. Whoa, nice big turns right here. And then here we come up the bridge. So it's March 31st. And it's basically going to be the end of the first fiscal year. So now I'll be able to see my production, and here we are. This is the Grahamtown station. And so if I want to go forward, just 2 lefts, and that does it. You see all the greenhouses and stuff. So this is a 3D view. It's got like a, like a window sizer here. So I'm going to go ahead and close that off, because what I want to do is get to the end of the day. So what I'm going to do is just jack up the speed a little bit. And go ahead and get the day finished. Okay, let's see. So it says this quarter was in the black. Keep this momentum. That's my Chief Financial Officer. So now what I want to look at is I've got $2,460,000,000 in sales. Okay. And let's come down here. Now, dividend income right there. 13 million. So when I bought those stocks in June, in July 1st, they paid off 13 million. 3,396,000 in advertising income, and I got 4,335,000 in subsidies income. So my big bottom line is that I made a current net profit after tax of 318 million. My pre-tax net profit was 622 million. So corporate taxes are 304 million. Now, let's get that clock stopped. Doggone it. Okay, here I finished up a research project. There we go, finally. So let's see, research project. There we go. And I can put in a new plan. So let's take a look and see what we've got here. I haven't done streetcar development yet. So I think I'll do that. Go to the advanced streetcar. And now we'll proceed. How about if I make running cost my improvement? So it goes from $4.58 a kilometer to $4.12. And now one of the cool things is I can change colors. Let's see. Let's make that red. Let's make that green. That doesn't look so good, so let's try this one for green. Here, that looks good. And blue looks good. And how about yellow? There we go. So we can sit there and we can specify colors. There. So that'll take 36 days. Seasonal tour, I don't know what that is, but or what it'll do for me. But gonna find out. So now let's take a look here at some reports. So we saw the profit and loss. Now let's look at the balance sheet. Right now I have 1,104,000,000, almost 105 million in total assets. Now over here I've got accrued corporate taxes of 304 million. And oh, is it going to make me go through all of this nonsense? So now the big thing is that it's accrued. In other words, it's turned into a payable on March 31st. I have to pay the bill on June 1st. So I have 289 million cash on hand right now. Um, so I think I'm going to hold pat right there. And I've got 6 million in accrued fixed asset tax. So I've got 310 million in taxes I need to pay. Now, let's take a look at company info. Tells us some interesting things. One of the things I got to be worried about now, number of employees. I had 120, so I've lost two. And I have to be very careful. Right now, my workload says extremely hard work. My employee status is cheerful. Okay, and my brand equity is super famous brand. Now, um, once I saw that I had extremely hard work and I was only down to employee status of cheerful instead of very cheerful, I decided not to do any more expansion. So now what I think I'm going to do to see if I can't make my employees a little happier is I'm going to start divesting my some stuff. So let's come over here to the subsidiary list. I want to get rid of, let's see, I want to get rid of that movie theater right there. It's making some profits. The previous year it made 4.3 million. Now sell. I could do an auction sale where I just sell it off real quick and take whatever I can get, which I don't want to do. Or I can do brokerage sale. Takes a little longer to sell, but I'm going to get a better price. So I'm going to put the theater up for sale. I'm going to put this theater up for sale. Always brokerage sale. Okay, so what I'm looking at is I want to try to divest myself of some businesses here and see if I can't reduce the workload. I still haven't seen where I can add extra employees, so I don't know if it goes by if I have to keep everybody in the very cheerful category or not. So right now I basically look like I just need to run clock for about another year, and I should be able to wrap this scenario up. So I hope that you've enjoyed this segment. I'll be back in a little bit. I want to get to the end of the scenario. Okay, back again. And the date is now March 31st. So let's see what we got going here. It's 1977. And let's see how we've done for the second year as far as profit and loss goes. Just waiting for the magic clock to run on down. I really haven't done much improving except for over here, the amusement park B. I decided to build that. That just looks so cool right there. That's one thing I like about this game, and that it's kind of like um, the successor to the original Railroad Tycoon. The stock market and being able to build amusement parks and stuff. So now just hurry on up. Now let's try speeding up the clock a little. There we go. So here we are. This quarter is in the black. So let's take a look. Second year, I have 3.664 million in sales. My dividend income this year was 34,697,000. The first year it was 13 million. So quite a bump there. Now, my bottom line, my current net profit is 511 million. Corporate taxes 489 million. So now, if I in the black, consecutive 2 years achieved. So that's one of the things about going public that I needed to achieve. and we are close to achieving the company's target of going public. Okay, criteria for going public are pegged at a surplus of 13 million or more and net assets exceeding 300 million. Just keep up the good work and avoid any red ink. So now let's take a quick stop. Now let's go to the balance sheet and let's see. I have a surplus of 821 million instead of just 13 million. So I'm way above it. Plus my capital stock is 390 million. Okay. So I've definitely achieved those goals, and now I'm on to the next step. Back again. Now I finally see what I have to do to go public. If only my mouse will cooperate. So I'm going to go to the new plan, and I found that I have a research project here called Go Public. So I'm going to go ahead and start that, and it will take me 120 days to have that finished up. So I'll be back in just a bit to show you what the next step is. Okay, here I decided to stop and do a quick little show and tell. Here our company is ready to pay stock dividends on July 1st. Now, we collected a bunch of stock dividends. I haven't seen how much yet. But what we need to do is pay a stock dividend. Now, the first year I paid a dividend amount of $1 per stock, which works out to a dividend yield of 20%. So I'm going to keep up with the dollar amount on the 20%. Hey, we want to keep the shareholders happy. That's the whole reason we're doing stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and pay the dividends. And let's take a quick look at my P&L. And let's take a look and see how much dividend income. So this year I got 29,287,000. Not as much as the 34 million from last year, but still a decent amount. Okay, I still need to finish up the research on going public, so I'll see you in just a bit. Here we are, 120 days later, and now it's time to finish up the Go Public research project. So here the plan is complete, and my capital increased to $1,170,000,000. So I've got total assets now of $2 billion achieved. Let's see what other good little things are going to say. I got my company's credit rating as AAA achieved. I ended up paying back the $100 million loan that I borrowed. I just had so much extra cash, and I figured, yeah, I want to get that AAA rating, so might as well pay my loan back early. I just didn't need the money. Go public achieved. Okay, so at last we're a publicly traded company. And let's see, value of shares, $900 million. They were at 390 million. So I picked up probably about 600 million in public stock offering money. And completion conditions are achieved. So we hit billion in total assets and went public successfully. So let me just get through all of this. This is just kind of like yada, 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 yada about how great I am, and if I want to start a new scenario or whatever, or continue playing this one. So now, what do you want to save log data? You'll be able to use it as a rival company. I've already done that, so I'm going to say no, and I don't want to go back to the title screen. Let's just slow things down a little bit here and just let them run a little. And now let's go take a quick look here at the balance sheet. So as you can see, I've got 2,327,000,000 in total assets. I've got a surplus now of 1,350,000,000. Okay, my capital stock is now 975,000,000, and I've got a 1.1 billion cash in hand, which I could use to, build all kinds of stuff. Let's see what my P&L looks like. Right now, I'm at 1.9 million for sales, and another 279 million in net profit after taxes, and 267 million looks like my growing tax bill. Now, one thing that I forgot to show you was that over here, these little buttons here. Now they can show us different ground level things. Now these are apartment buildings. So this is basically, they got F and B, and I don't know, it's like above ground and below ground. I don't know what the F quite stands for. Or floor, like floor 1, floor 2, floor 3, and these are like, basement 1, basement 2. So let's take a quick look. Now, right here, remember I said I didn't know where coal was? Well, I found coal. So it's right over here by Grahamtown. Okay, and if I go to the next level, B3, okay, I see a little more. And if I go to B4, I see even more. And here is where you see the oil deposits, okay? And I've got that right there was my oil well, kind of in the middle. Now, let's come back up here. Now, this is, whoopsie. So this is kind of like the ground floor, 1F, so to say. And now if we come down here, now we're looking at 2F, so you can see how these hills are growing. Okay, that's 3, that's 4, that's 5, and now that's 6. And so now that's all back to square one. So that allows you to look at the topography at various levels. Let's come back here before I quit and show you a few other things. Let's look at company info. Now, currently I have 418 people. Now, at the end of the first year I had 120 people. And then I lost 2. So I lost 2. And I ran clock more. And then all of a sudden I noticed I went from 118 to 224. So I gained 106. So it looks like each year you automatically gain employees. So the second year I was at 224, and now in the third year I'm at 418. Now let's take a look at my brand equity is super famous brand. My workload is an appropriate amount. Now my first year I had everybody working extremely hard, but they were still cheerful. And the employee status, cheerful. So you want to make sure that you don't overwork your employees and turn them not cheerful, because then you're going to suffer as far as performance results. And if I look over here, under the rival button, you can see that I have Omnius Railway. This is the one that I did. Now, I could even upload this to Steam if I want to. I've noticed that a whole bunch of them have been uploaded that are in Japanese. So I might do it because don't see much in the way of English. Um, so I think maybe I'll just do it just for grins. I'm not sure how I compared to the Japanese, and I heard something about, well, the Japanese and the English versions might not match up well. So it doesn't look like I can download some of these Japanese ones just to see how I might have performed compared to them. So basically, it's a pretty spiffy game. I love the way the stock market thing works. I love, got the amusement park I can build. Um, it's a very good basic business simulator. The one downside, you got to be careful about vehicles getting off track. So you almost really need to make certain that um, you run things in closed loops. The one mistake that I made here was trying to run this road from here down to here. You notice I ended up replaying it and not extending it. I just went right to this parking lot here. Except that now what I would do is I would build the road from down here to down here and then place my parking lot here and to fill up my material depot. But otherwise, the material factory looks pretty good. And then what I'd probably do, since I'm running up this way, is at some point I would get the road off the track here. Probably run a duplicate road from down here to over here, and then up this road, and then across way over to here. Okay, and then use this road for a bus stop. And then I'd have to figure out how I want to isolate this. It might be that I'm going to start getting into double roads. One will be a bus road, one will be a truck road, and I probably won't mess around with turning them into streetcar rails. I mean, yeah, I wanted to do something a little more with the buses, but I figured, yeah, the buses aren't going to make me big money. And I really did nothing with the streetcars because they just weren't making me real money. But otherwise, the city built up. The key is materials. Okay, so wherever you can put materials, you can make cities grow. Oh, look at that! Now the two trucks. And then what I've discovered was that, like here, I've cleaned out this depot. So let's see. I think Cibolo material is there, so I'm just going to remove it. I found that yeah, sometimes what I can do is move my vehicles around. So like I'll move my trucks around to places where maybe there's there we go. So like see now I've got some space over here, so what I could do is take and place the Cibolo truck here. Oops, place. There we go, and that's going in the correct direction. And because I kind of have a closed loop here, I just don't even have to tell it what to do. It's just going to go do it. So this is the end of my preview. I really kind of think this is a fun game. Um, I blitzed through the second and third year just because I knew I'd kind of satisfied the requirements, and it was just a matter of run clock, run up the profit, get through, and finish the scenario. So I'll probably do something else at some point in time. and another scenario, something that's going to be fun. But at least now I have a real good idea of kind of what to do. You know, build up materials, try to build up natural resources, and then ship them to ports and out to sea. So I hope that you've enjoyed this two-part preview of A-Train PC Classic. Actually, it's funny that it's classic when it's actually the third rendition of the A-Train series. But I decided I got this at a 60% discount on Steam. And yeah, it looks like it's worth its money. So, until my next video, I hope that all of you have a good time.